Have you ever had somebody make you feel guilty about something or try to make you feel guilty about something you did or maybe something you didn't do? Or maybe you try to make yourself feel guilty and it's an unpleasant emotion. So today I'm going to talk about how you can get rid of it. Simple solution. I'm Stacy Rocklein, and it's my mission to eradicate loneliness. And loneliness comes from disconnection. And a really fast way to cause disconnection is to manipulate someone's emotions or try to manipulate someone's emotions or feel like your emotions are being manipulated. So let's talk about what might happen. Let's say someone that you love comes to you and they're upset. And they say, I'm upset and it's because you did this or you didn't do this. And that turns on our guilt meter. And so we all have one. We all have this guilt meter inside of us. And it's like your check engine light, except this is a meter, okay? So hopefully it's dark. It's not even turned on. Guilt isn't even on your radar. But sometimes you're gonna have a little bit of guilt or maybe a lot of guilt. And this person says words and yours gets turned on. It is at that moment that you have the choice to decide you're going to pick up guilt or not. Because what the other person is doing is they are trying to get you, by telling you what's going on with them and how they feel, they're trying to get you to align your behavior with who they want you to be. And it's not that they are intentionally manipulating, even though they may be. It's what everybody does in relationships, right? We want to accept the other person as much as possible, but sometimes they hurt our feelings and we don't want them to do that. So we tell them, hey, that hurt my feelings. It's because you did this, right? In a real healthy relationship, it's without guilt. The person says that, you go, oh, I don't want that. And you can take action to do something different next time. That's like your dream scenario. But sometimes someone says that and our guilt meter turns on and that causes us concern. Just like when you see that check engine light, all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I need to do something. Now, the people who have the most peace in their life see that light and they do something. And they have a choice at this point. This is the simple solution. You have the choice to say, I agree with that and I'm going to do this. Or I don't agree with that, and I'm just going to flip that guilt switch off. The pain comes from when we leave that guilt switch on and we walk around without an ability to solve the problem. Because let's say the person's asking us to do something that's really out of alignment with ourselves. That's really what guilt is. It's a call to alignment. It's a call for you to check in with yourself and say, who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? And do I need to make an adjustment or am I all good with myself? Because sometimes it's external, right? You've got someone coming to you and telling you something and you don't need to worry about their motivation. You don't need to worry about whether they're trying to make you feel guilty or not. That's not your concern. Your concern is, does what they say turn my guilt on because I want to do something different? Or does it turn my guilt on because I've just got an overactive guilt meter? Maybe it's super sensitive. Maybe I'm a little bit of a people pleaser and I want to give everybody what they want and I want to be who anybody wants me to be, right? And maybe that's not the most healthy way for you to live. Maybe it's not in alignment with who you are. So you have this opportunity when your guilt meter turns on to pull yourself into alignment. And as much as possible, I mean, we want to show up for each other, but two things can be true. You can be really empathetic to how they feel. You can understand that their feelings are hurt and also know that you showed up exactly as yourself, your best self, your most aligned self. What we can't do in our healthy relationships is turn away from who we are and what's important to us and what we need and want and who we want to be in order to be for the other person. And if the guilt meter is turning on and urging you away from yourself, it's also an opportunity to turn it off. You don't need that. You've got the external guilt and then you've got the internal guilt. Like sometimes your guilt meter gets turned on because of something that you did or didn't do, and it has nothing to do with someone else. You set an intention and you didn't keep a promise to yourself and you wanted to. And so on comes that guilt meter, and you can be like, oh, that's a reminder. That's a gentle invitation. And the faster you act in that case to pull yourself back into alignment of your best self, who you want to be, what you need to do, how you want to show up, the quicker you get that engine light off. But sometimes you have to recognize that it's just an old message. It's an old broken message from long ago or previous relationships, and it's no longer true. And that's a time that you can turn off your guilt light also. We are in control of guilt because it's our emotion. Doesn't matter what turned it on, the meter, whether it was external, internal, it doesn't matter. It's now our emotion that we're feeling, and as fast as possible, we need to give attention to that check engine light, whether that is to take an action or realign just with a reminder that that's not us. Because we don't want to walk around with that painful emotion. That's like, have you ever left your engine light on and you haven't gotten a chance to get it cared for? And in my car, it starts with like blinks. Just when I turn on the car, it blinks and then it turns off. So it's like just a little tiny reminder. And if I ignore it, that thing stays on from the moment I turn on the car to the moment I turn off the car. So then I'm sitting in that concern and worry the whole time, when I can just go get that light off right away. So what do you need to do to manage your guilt? No matter what someone tells you, no matter how they manipulate you or you feel manipulated, any of that, you have an opportunity to immediately, as soon as you notice it, to ask yourself the question, is this true for me? Do I need to realign myself with who I want to be? And knowing your emotions is really important. Like recognizing what guilt feels like. Sometimes it's just this, I feel bad. And feeling bad isn't really as much information as your emotions are giving you. They're giving you so much, and you can use them as the data that they are by really learning what each one feels like. They're subtly different from each other. And so you might need help with a feel wheel, and you can download a free one by clicking on the link that will just be a little resource that you can use anytime you're kind of feeling bad to check in with yourself and figure out what exact emotion that is. Because then if you find guilt, now you know exactly what to do with it. So make sure you grab that today. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you enjoy these tips and they help you, and I will see you next time.